not shifted. It's fine. All right. Well, trying to find the best place to put this. Not 100% sure, but maybe, just maybe, right here will work pretty well. All right. So we are YouTube live at the 4 o'clock hour, and I'm your host, Fisher. Now, we've already got a couple of pretty good, I would say, actually, questions that have come in. Ones that I'm actually really excited to answer, but not only answer, but to really break down and go through with you. Tiny, what up? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Very happy to be here today. So we've got 3 people on right now. I'm going to wait for a few more before I start breaking down some of these questions and get into it. If you can think of anything that you would like to know about me or things like that, absolutely, ask, and I will endeavor to answer as best I can. As I mentioned on our Instagram story, I may answer almost anything. Who knows? There might be a point, who knows, where my webcam just decides to shut off, in which case, just give me a quick second and I will try to get it back on. It's been acting a little weird lately, so if that happens, please give me a little bit of extra time. All right, so we got 4 people on right now. Give me a hit up in the chat over here so I can know who you are, where you're from. I'll give you a shout out as well because I want to know who I'm talking to because it's always exciting. We got Cheerio, excellent. That is very exciting for me. I'm glad that you are here. Yeah. How are you guys doing? Tiny, how's life treating you these days? You doing all right? Keeping busy? Or are you enjoying a little bit of easier time? Cheerio, same question. Ooh, we're up to 6. Ooh, I feel so popular. Jody, good to see you. Good to see you. So I'm gonna start breaking down some of these questions and answers that I've gotten so far. When I hit 7, that's gonna be it's gonna be it. Working on your project cars. Yeah, I've seen some of that actually. Your I think it's that Mustang that you're like lifting and that like doing like sort of like a dirt rally kind of look of what. That looks sweet. I like that. It's a good start. For anyone who's confused, there are like model cars, but I know if there's one person who would be able to make something like that amazing happen out of something that was like, a real car. Model cars are real cars. Don't mess around. But it would be Tiny. That guy knows his way around making something awesome. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go back over here to my couple of questions. Ooh. There we go. Found it. I'm a genius. But what are you gonna do? Okay, so let's see here. Question number 1 that I got in, and this is a 2-parter that was posted. What is my real name? Is the first of those. Lolly, oh, so good. So good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. So what is my real name is the first question that was asked. Now, that's not something that I would typically share, and that's okay. But what I will tell you is that my real name is actually not too difficult to find. So you're going to have to put a little bit of work in to go and get it. But if you go to our website at morelands.ca, my name is on there somewhere. And it's right next to my picture, so you'll be able to find it. But my name is on the Moorelands website. So if you want to know what my name is, you can go look for it and you can find it. But I will not be sharing that here right now. It is great to see you too, Lolly. That is awesome. All right. The second question that has come in is, do I have a girlfriend? Well, yeah, I have lots of girls that are my friends. You know, got lots of boys that are my friends, girls that are my friends. You know, I just got a lot of friends. That's a great question. It makes me feel like a big part of a community, which I am. So the real important question here we've got, who would win in a fight? 1 T-Rex or 3,000 chickens? Okay, so let me break this down for you a little bit. Okay, I gotta set my camera down again because I just need to, take a quick second so I can focus in on this. So 1 T-Rex or 3,000 chickens. So Cheerio, you say 3,000 chickens for sure. Easily the chickens. Tiny agrees. I 100% agree. There is no doubt in my mind that 3,000 chickens could do it. Here's the thing. Obviously, in this scenario, there is a reason. Okay, these chickens aren't just being dropped out of nowhere. They're going to maybe have some level of coordination to their attack, and this fight. And 1 T-Rex. Now you might be thinking, but a T-Rex is huge. They're like the most perfect dinosaur there was, which they weren't. There was a lot of really good dinosaurs. It's not important for right now. Anyway, the whole deal you got to think is, yes, maybe they've only got 2 legs on the ground that the chickens can mainly like peck at and, cause a little bit of damage there. But if the T-Rex needs to get down there to make his attack, then all he's doing is exposing his head to easily, 100 plus chickens at a time. And I mean, how much damage can he do? Maybe three chickens at a time? Who knows? Now, yes, he can step on some of the chickens, but they're quick. They're watching what's going on. I truly believe that 3,000 chickens could absolutely overtake 1 T-Rex, because you might be in your head imagining what 3,000 chickens look like, and you're probably wrong. 3,000 is a lot. 3,000 of anything is a lot of anything. So, in my opinion, 100% easily, I would go with the chickens on that. So then the next question of another who would win, which I really like these. These are good. Gets me thinking. Who would win? 2 Wolverines, not like Hugh Jackman Wolverines, but like the animal Wolverine. So 2 Wolverines or a black bear and a mother black bear and her cubs. Now, just a little well-known, well, not that well-known, but I'm about to make it known to all 7 of you. Wolverines, one Wolverine can easily go toe-to-toe with 1 bear and win. So, especially when territory is in question. Wolverines are incredibly territorial creatures. Wolverines are very, very territorial, and as much as you would say, like, a black bear with her cubs is going to be really, really protective, there's so many limitations there. Like, it doesn't make they don't gain like power. It's not like the Infinity Gauntlet of a bear is having the cubs there. It's not like they don't like absorb the power or anything like that. They still have some limitations on that, and they're going to be very, very passionate about protecting both themselves but also their cubs. But Wolverines are small, quick, and very angry. And so there is a video that I've seen. You can find it on YouTube as well if you do look up Wolverine versus bear. And this Wolverine is just like real mad. And the bear runs away, runs up into a tree, and the Wolverine just straight up goes after it. Like it goes up the tree and it's just like because that's what Wolverines do. But so this Wolverine goes after it, and the bear runs away. There are tons of reports of like bears having like some food, and a Wolverine comes along and is like, I wish that was my food, and then like chases the bear away, and the bear's like, oh, I wanted that food, but it's a Wolverine, so I'll leave it alone. So definitely adding in two Wolverines versus one bear and cubs. Yeah, that would make a big difference. And I can almost guarantee that the Wolverines would win, and that bear and her cubs would run away as quickly as possible. All right, moving on. I got another question here that was from Jody, which was, what are some wild animals I've seen at camp? And that's a great question. So we've got a very animal themed time with you all today. So things I've seen at camp, I've seen, chipmunks, I've seen squirrels. Actually, though, usually not around the same time. There's usually a bit of like, it's either squirrels or chipmunks year to year. You never quite know who's taken over. I've seen a lot of mice, definitely birds, lots of different types of birds. I've seen some deer. I've seen some moose, actually. There was a moose out behind the dining hall once, and that thing was huge. Moose are so big. They're like way bigger than you think they are. Just like 3,000 chickens is more than you would typically think. I also saw a moose swimming across the lake, and that was pretty sweet. That was really cool because it's like head and antlers were like above the water, and there's a bunch of us, and we were like, what is that? And then we got some like binoculars, and then we were like, it's a moose. And so like we were like, we had like an old digital camera, and we were like putting it up to the binoculars to try to like get a picture, and it actually worked pretty well. But it was crazy. Yeah, Lolly, you remember that moose? Yeah, that was, oh man, that was a while ago. But that was really cool. Totally weird. I've seen some snakes as well, garter snakes. So not nothing to worry about too bad. But still, you gotta respect them. What else have I seen that's good? I think I mentioned I saw some deer. I've seen some foxes as well earlier on in the season before anyone else gets up there. What else? I've seen a lot of things up there. Yeah. Oh, woodpeckers. I know. I said I've seen birds just in general, but I've seen some woodpeckers. I've seen flying squirrels. Jody, further on question: any beavers or porcupines? Yes to both. That is a great question. Did you? Little known fact: both of those animals are very related to trees. Beavers obviously take down trees, and they need them for their homes. And then porcupines actually live in trees, or at least they will live in trees as well. That's pretty exciting. Cheerio asks again, yeah, chipmunks. Yep, definitely chipmunks. Snakes. Yep, but still again, just garter snakes. Snapping turtles. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. There's the frog pond down at the clear other end of camp. Goodness gracious. Thank you for reminding me, Lolly. I totally forgot. I don't know how. But you've got, we have snapping turtles sometimes. We got frogs. We got tadpoles, which are just like the little tiny little frogs that aren't frogs yet. But There's down there, there's all, and then, oh my goodness, of course, bugs. You got mosquitoes, you got black flies, you got horse flies, you got deer flies, you got, time flies, you got butterflies, you got, one of those wasn't a real animal, that's the time flies, but you get the idea. Yeah, butterflies up there as well. Oh yeah, those flying squirrels, so much chaos. Those were ridiculous. With butterflies, the camp has actually been is a spot where a lot of like monarchs will stop over on like their tour of things, and so sometimes you can see like sometimes in August there'll be points when there's just like hundreds of these butterflies around, and it's absolutely beautiful. Fireflies, yes, tiny, absolutely. Fireflies, I forgot all about those. You don't see them very, very often, but they definitely come around, and they're really cool if you've never seen one before. I remember when I first saw one, I was just like, oh my goodness, I could not believe my eyes. And then there was like 10,000 fireflies, and they just lit up the world as I fell asleep. But maybe I'll write a song about that sometime. Anyway, dragonflies. Yep, big fan of dragonflies. They're so cool, and they're super helpful, and they're very, very fun. The thing I like about dragonflies is sometimes you can like, they're super chill. So like you can like hold out your hand, and they'll be like, they'll like chill on there as well. Oh, Chi-Chi, you did miss the chickens versus T-Rex answer, but I will happily go over it again. So to break it down real quick, like, absolutely chickens. We all agree in the chat as well. Chickens all day, and here is why. So there are 3,000 chickens. That is an insane amount of chickens. It's a lot, and it's only one T-Rex. They are not going to have definitely the size or damage advantage. However, the T-Rex has a disadvantage of heavy outnumbering, as well as the points of contact. So it's going to have its feet down on the ground, which can obviously be weakened. And then as it comes to when it needs to make it sort of like, if he needs to make his like big damage attacks with his mouth, that whole head is coming down there, and all the chickens are there. Now, T-Rex has big feet. Very true. Big old feet. And if he stomps, yeah, he can stomp, but the chickens can move. They're not like, it's not like a a turn-based battle system where the T-Rex is standing here just like, and the chickens are all just like standing there ready to go and waiting. The chickens are going to be moving. And if you've ever seen a chicken, they can move very frantically and fly over short distances, which is a definite advantage. But I just think purely in the numbers sense of things, it depends on, what level the T-Rex is and how many hit points it has, its sort of defensive capabilities, and if it has like, like an iron bangle or anything like that with it as well. Maybe we should ask Eyeball about the T-Rex. True. That nobody knows T-Rex is like that guy. That's for sure. Yeah, no. Chickens, yeah, that's the thing. Chickens one-on-one, I still wouldn't really mess with, but I'd be like, yeah, okay. But even for me, if there was like 3 chickens just all like, I would stay away. I'd be a little bit worried, but the thing is, usually chickens mind their own business. They don't really mind. They don't really look that much into stuff. They kind of just do their own thing, which is great. But the other thing is, if these 3,000 chickens were going after this T-Rex, obviously it's somewhat organized and they have a purpose behind it, which frankly, that organized chickens is about the scariest concept that I can come up with right now. So not to, bring everyone down on that, and don't be too scared when you see a chicken, but if you see 3,000 chickens, definitely get your move on. What do we got over here? Hummingbirds, definitely. Definitely hummingbirds as well. Now, if it was like 3,000 hummingbirds versus a T-Rex, that's the thing. Again, if they're organized and focused, they might not have as much power individually, but like especially with all the flying and like all over the place. Like, yeah. Is there an animal I would like to see up at camp? Good question. So my question originally was, are there any wild animals that I've seen up at camp? And I didn't include Sully and Gilbert in that, the dogs, because obviously they're not wild. Well, okay, Sully is not wild. Gilbert very much does his own thing. So what's something I would like to see? I do want to mention as well, sometimes when we've gone to the dump, when we have to take garbage out and things like that, sometimes there's bears around the dump, and that's very, very cool. Tiny, I know, has seen his fair share of bears up at the dump as well, and that's him and I shared some moments there with bears. You know, Tiny, just to remind you, you got the three-legged bear, and the one with whose tongue would always hang out the whole time. That's so good. So much fun. Anyway, an animal. I'll get back down to your next question there, Chi-Chi, in a second. But is there an animal I would like to see at camp? It would be pretty. You know what? I would love to see a llama. I would love to see a llama at camp. Hands down, love me some llamas. They're hilarious. And I just feel like it would just be absolutely in its own world, which I really appreciate about llamas. What do we got? Tenty the Tent. Ooh, love me some Tenty. Tenty, for those of you who don't know, Tenty is a sentient tent, or a tentient, if you will. And so he is a tent who speaks for all tents, and really is like, very concerned about the really well sort of oriented to the situations and what matters for the tents. And he really wants them to be respected and cared for. So Tenty actually texted me the other day and was just checking in, saying that he's making sure everything is up there and that all the tents are doing okay, waiting, and still they're doing okay. Because yeah, Tenty's not alone. Tenty has the other tents. He just communicates with us, but he also communicates to the other tents. So he's got tons of friends up there. So don't worry about that. LT says, some mornings lots of staff may appear to be animals. Goodness, that could not be more true, myself included. I'm not too much of a morning person, but I always have to make it do. And, sometimes you got to work through things like that and make the best of the situation. Bernie, Lolly's brought up Bernie. Bernie is a horse, kind of. Bernie is a much beloved horse that belonged to Alpha back in the day, and he's a horse that is on a long stick that you can ride. And Bernie is free. Bernie is free to roam up there, and I don't hear them talking about each other too much, but I'm sure they get along. Yeah. Ooh, we have also seen other animals. Duh, of course, fish. There's lots of fish up there. Definitely when people are swimming, they stay away because they don't like, tons of people in their water and things like that. But I've seen quite a few fish in my day. The other thing that sometimes has happened, reportedly, is sometimes the program staff have dressed up and worn different costumes to be different animals. So we've had things like cows, dragons, lizards, dinosaurs. There's lots of different things that have popped up and shown up, and lots of fun to be had with that as well. So animals are a big part of camp because we're up there in nature, and that's kind of that's their place. And so we've got to be able to be in there and respecting their space just as well. We would want them to respect ours. And we got to realize that, we're there and we've got to share, because we can't just turf every animal out because they're in our space, because we're kind of in their space too. Ooh, geese. Oh my goodness. Talk about scary. Yeah, there's geese around. There's loons, things like that too. Just to digress back a little bit, one goose versus one T-Rex. My money's on the goose. Easy. Geese are scary. Um, what's my favorite theme at camp? Oh, what a loaded question. Um, wow. I don't know. It's there. I love the themes at camp. I just got to say that is one of my favorite things of all time. Is some of the stories that are had, the fun that gets had, the games that we can play around them, and just the amount of fun that we can have with it. I love dressing up, and I love being like in the skits and things like that. Like, there's so much about the themes that I love. So this is a very tough question. Um, Pirates is a great one. Pirates is definitely up in my top 3 easily. Yeah, Pirates is definitely top 3. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite. Chi-Chi, Tunnel Snakes for life. Oh, I feel you. I just realized we were doing this way before Wakanda even became a thing in people's minds, mostly. So Tunnel Makes, our nonprofit, was also a good one there. Cheerio. Space Cowboys was a great week too. I'm trying to think of like good recurring ones though too. Jody's brought up time travel, and time detectives might be one of my favorite themes. So to give you a bit of an idea of how some of these things come up, time detectives came up as an idea between myself and one of my really good friends, Dozer, where we thought of all these really cool themes that like we could make into something, but maybe not the full week of themes. And we're like, how could we do all of this? How could we fit these in? And could it be fun and go to a different thing each day? And we're like, what about time travel? And then from there, we talked a lot about we were like, what about then the importance of history and understanding what things have happened before and why that matters? And so that's how we built Time Detectives. So that's one that I really love. Because there's a really cool reasoning behind it as well. Morelandia, LT says, absolutely. Morelandia is so much fun. And there's so many different ways that can go. That's sort of our medieval theme. So you have you might just have knights, castles, horses. That's where Bernie comes in quite nicely. But you've also got like magic, dragons, a lot of fantasy stuff. There's a lot you can do with Morelandia, and it's a lot of fun and really, really cool. Settlers of Moreland, absolutely. Ava, hello, good to see you. So Settlers of Moreland is really fun. That's our sort of like Western themed one. So lots of cowboys, and it's very, very silly. And the one time, what Chi-Chi mentioned was about with Mayor of Space, the president of space. And that was a character in our Space Cowboys. So we were doing an outer space theme, but also cowboys, and merged them together. And it was totally ridiculous. That was what happened when another good friend of mine, GNU, and I just sort of like we're sitting together like, well, should we do this or should we do this? Should we do cowboys or should we do space? Should we do cowboys or should we do space cowboys? And that was just like game on, and we just went for it, and it was totally ridiculous. But it was a lot of fun, and that's really what it comes down to at the end, is we want it to be a lot of fun. And obviously I enjoy the fun of it, but I love when other people do too. I love how I can see in the chat there are a lot of themes that have mattered to people and they can remember over the years, and that's really cool to see, because obviously I remember these themes because a lot of them I worked on and came up with the stories and sort of the things that happened, and would work with other people on that. So I remember most of them for sure, but to have other people remember them too, how many years ago was the Space Cowboys? Like 4 years, 4 or 5 years ago now, which sounds ridiculous, but I loved that one. That was super fun. Tiny says these newer themes sound amazing. Yeah, and that's actually part of the challenge, is trying to keep them interesting, because we've been doing themes for about, I don't know, 12 or 13 years at camp now, where we've been doing the full themes of the week. And so we've had island adventure, where a ship has been crash landed on an island. It turns out it was Moorelands. And we've done all kinds of different things throughout the years. And we've tried to every year, for even the themes that repeat, like pirates, which we did for about 11 years in a row before we took a break for 1 year, and then realized that felt wrong. So we brought pirates back. But some of the things really challenging is coming up with new stories and new themes year after year, and trying to make sure it's interesting and fun and good and stuff like that. And sometimes we've reused a little bit of things, but that's where people having imagination is so important, and really being able to fill it out and understand it and see where things are coming from and come up with these stories. And that's a place where I love being able to ask and talk to other people and get other people's help on as well. Because I can't do all of this myself. I can't come up with this stuff just all totally on my own. I can come up with some of it, but everything like that works so well when you involve other people, because everyone has a different imagination. And that's an amazing thing. And being able to work with and access other people's imaginations is such a benefit. Because people will think of something that you never would have thought of on your own. And that's awesome. All right, so it's 4:30 right now. So I've been here for 32 minutes or so. So I'm going to give a couple of minutes just for any last questions to come up in the chat, and then that'll be it for today. But I've loved talking to you guys. So if you have any questions, drop them over here. Yep, there we go. Camera's flipped, so it's hard. Drop them over here, and I will do my best to answer them. But I have loved getting to talk to you guys today, and I hope you've enjoyed being able to see me and get through it like that. Not really related to today's theme. Do I have a dream car? Oh, Tiny, you have just asked me a question that will take about half an hour to answer. And nobody wants that except for you, which is fine. But okay. Yeah, Cheerio's right. You have no idea what you've done. So, okay. Dream car, absolutely, hands down. I gotta say, if it was like you get one choice and this is it, this is your dream car, you get it and you don't get any more cars, Mitsubishi Evolution 9 MR. That is the Evo 9 is USDM, the US domestic market. So not one of the import ones, but an Evo 9 would be my absolute favorite choice, top choice. Super quick. As to why, it just looks sick. I think it's one of the coolest looking cars. Like, you don't have to really do a whole lot to them to make them look awesome. They go really, really fast. They're really safe because they have all-wheel drive. Auto English. I know, I'm losing people. That's okay. But they also have like 5 seats, so you can fit 5 people in them, which is very, very exciting. So that's to answer your question there. For LT and Lolly, you guys definitely ask me a question as well, and I'll answer that, and maybe that'll be more in your realm of things. That is very true. No, that's a great question. All right, I'll give about another minute to get some questions in on the side. Oh yeah, thank you for the question, Tiny. And yeah, cars are one of those things that I have a definite obsession over, and it's good that I obsess over that. It's something that I like to fill my time with, but it's definitely not everyone's thing, and I get that. So thank you for putting up with listening to that, everyone. Okay, so go for another 30 seconds, and then we'll be done here. But thank you all so much for coming and being here today. I've enjoyed it a lot. This next week, we've got another beautiful week of the Moorelands kids lead on videos. Really excited for them. There are some good ones. We have a controversial video from Jody this week. You'll have to tune in to figure out why it's so controversial, but there's a lot of opinions floating around her subject matter. So you'll have to show up. You'll have to see what's going on, and then maybe next Friday, let us know, or drop some comments, or let us know what you think. All right, it's been enough time. Thank you guys so much for coming today. I've loved it. I've had a good time, and I hope you did too. So, Moorelands kids, we out.